Back out here on winning Saturday at Jake's Furnishings, 1100 Woodlawn Road. The college football season getting ready to take place, the first Saturday of college football. But more importantly, we're here for the winning Saturday of the Railers. 22-14 win over the Lions from Lanphier, and I've got Coach McDonald has stepped in, and he brought a couple players. We're going to get to those guys here in just a couple minutes. But Coach, I wasn't unable to make the show last week, but I got to think a little bit better mood here at the cheap seats than last week.
Oh, sure, definitely. It's that thrill of victory kind of eases the bumps and bruises after a hard-fought game. The guys came in and are pretty excited, and still a little sore because a lot of guys that are playing an awful lot of downs out there and playing real hard. But it's a good reward to a lot of hard work they've been putting in.
Coach, anything different that you saw out of your guys? The bad loss last week to Jacksonville at Jacksonville. You came in. Were you open? Did you have any doubts or anything coming into this week of practice that the guys would maybe be down a little bit coming in after a maybe if it's a 48-35 game, maybe you're a little bit different, but putting a 0 up on the scoreboard, was there any doubt in your mind that the guys wouldn't be able to come back?
Not really. I think that once we got past the next morning on Saturday that I figured these guys would put that behind them. I think that they understood that Jacksonville was an extremely physical and very talented team. I really had no question that they were going to come in the next week and be pumped up and ready to go for our first home game.
Coach, you talked about not only guys going both ways, but a lot of guys that are playing a lot of youth in your varsity team this year. How has that been a learning curve for you and also for them?
We've got some guys, some sophomores that are having to step on the field and give us breaks and in special teams. And, we started a sophomore at defensive back last night. Sean Cannon did a great job for us. It's trying to find creative ways to give some of these guys, a break every once in a while, even though they don't want to come off the field. There's times where they're going to need to. And it's going to help with the younger guys of getting the experience of being out there on a Friday night. And even if they're not getting a lot of snaps, they're going to kind of get a feel for the intensity of a Friday night football game and the speed and the physicalness of it.
What were you looking for from Lanphier last night as the week went on, as you got the scouting report from wherever you may get them, or if you remember from last year who they might have coming back? What were some of the key things that the Railers and yourself, Coach, had to key on in order to come away with the W last night? Well,
we knew that their quarterback was coming back, and that he was a very athletic kid and an accurate passer and a tough runner. He liked to run the ball, and that's exactly what they showed last night. He was a handful, especially in that first half. Extremely hard runner and quick, very tough to bring down. We were planning on that their line was going to be pretty physical, and they were. They had some big, strong kids up front that were aggressive, and so I think we figured pretty correctly what to expect. The quarterback was a little tougher to tackle first half than maybe what we expected.
Well, I'll give you a little bit of mine. I was there for the first 8 minutes, and the kids were loving it. Brought her 2 sons, wife hating it. We had to leave, so I'm just going by what I was there for 8 minutes and then heard on the night. Yeah, I'm telling. I'm not. Right, don't blame it on me, Coach. Right. Don't blame it on me. I didn't have any choice, but. We come in, we're there, of course, at the beginning. The guys are pumped up. The rain sets in. Did you do anything out of the ordinary to try and get the guys ready for that sloppy ball, the sloppy field? Because we really haven't had rain since last year. I mean, you didn't have a lot of rain problems last year. It haven't had any even through the summer. The wet ball, did you drown it in the water? Did you turn on the sprinklers? Did you do anything different in order for that rain that you knew was going to come in last night?
No, not really. And that may be something to try in the future, especially when it's been this dry, like you said. Bring a bucket of water out there and stick a ball in there and make a handle. You know what? You learn something every day. That's probably a pretty good idea.
Might waterlog your ball, but you might. But
well, we can spare one of them. They're all waterlogged anyway, so
it might be worth it. But not a lot of things different throughout practice. Just getting ready for the weather.
Yeah, just kind of reinforcing what we've been doing, and threw in a couple. Each week we'll do a couple wrinkles on offensively, and maybe some slight defensive changes that we do defensively, depending on who our opponent's going to be. But nothing drastically, and just trying to reinforce to the guys to have confidence in what we've been doing and to do it at the best of their ability and as hard as they can.
Lanphier turned the ball over several times, as their coach admitted in the paper, probably too many times to come out with a W. The Railers had one interception, and they picked up 3 of Lanphier's fumbles. Now, we fumbled quite often too, Coach, 8 times it says here, but we only lost just 2 of them. So other than that being a problem, even when it's dry, even the rain made it a little tougher.
Sure, yeah, and I think 5 or 6 of them were problems that we had kind of between center and quarterback. And again, we told the guys after the game too that we were proud of how that they didn't let some of those miscues and balls on the ground affect us, that we often came back with some good positive yardage plays after that and kept fighting.
6-7, the Railers were ahead 7-6 after the first quarter, and Lanphier put up 8 in the second quarter. The Railers go scoreless to make it 14-6 at halftime. The Railers put up 8 points in the third quarter and hold Lanphier scoreless through the second half, and then the Railers put another touchdown to the final 22-14. The first score was a Lanphier Berger 46-yard pass from Lamprez. Conversion failed, so they were just the 6 points. You talked about the quarterback. I noticed from where I was sitting, they had a huge I don't know if he played tight end or receiver. I think he had to go 6'7", and they didn't seem like they used him a whole lot.
No, it didn't seem to, or maybe we did a good job covering him because we knew he was going to be a threat. He's an athletic kid. He's a basketball player over there.
That's what I remember. Yeah.
And he's a pretty aggressive kid. He played defensive end, and so we knew that he was somebody we had to keep our eye on also.
Yeah, 6'7". I don't know if they listed him at 230, somewhere around there, but a big kid that the Railers had to deal with last night. In the first quarter also, Connor Schmidt was a 37-yard pass from Andy Cruz. Austin Cruz. Yeah. Grant Cooper with the PAT was good. And Coach, not only was good for Lincoln to see the passing game working too. I'm sure that PAT had to be a little more difficult after he'd been practicing on such dry weather the whole season and the whole summer. Now he gets out and gets it and boots it perfect right through the middle in the wet weather.
Yeah, we're real proud of that, and that was Grant's his first football games there. We're proud of his composure getting out there and doing his job, and then we had the one, I guess, slightly low snap that was kind of hard to handle with the wet ball, and Dane Eimer adjusted very well with the fire call and was just an athlete and made a nice little toss to Connor in the end zone for that.
Yeah, Coach, and really after the first quarter, anything that you didn't see that you needed to be a little bit better at?
I mean, the biggest thing was, again, holding on the ball, and we just kept emphasizing the guys that, we'd rather have you wrap both arms around it, even if you're running 10, 15 yards downfield, than the risk of putting it on the ground. And again, just kind of emphasizing of keep doing what we're doing and keep battling, keep working hard for their blocks, and if everybody does their job, then good things will happen.
Lanphier got on the scoreboard in the second quarter. Lamprez, a 5-yard run, a 2-point conversion, good to round out the score at 14-6 at halftime. Coach, going into the locker room, right there in the game, 14-6. Plenty of time for us to come back, in which you ultimately end up doing. But early, let's talk about the first half here real quick. What kind of adjustments did you make at half?
Well, I mean, we felt like coming in at halftime that their quarterback had been their offense. Mm-hmm. So I think the guys, I don't think the heads were down, but I think that we were mad at ourselves that we were letting one kid beat us there, and then we'd had a couple of costly penalties on our offensive side of the ball that kind of slowed down or halted some drives. So we felt like we were allowing, we were kind of hurting ourselves, shooting ourselves in the foot, and allowing their quarterback kind of to dictate the game. And again, I think the guys were just, because they're competitive, they were mad. Their heads weren't down because we were down on the scoreboard, and came out ready to battle and fix that. And I think they've got a lot of pride at playing not only every game, but especially our home field there.
Sure. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll get back with some of the guys who were in the trenches last night. Brandon Aper and Riley Reid. That's R-E-I-D. And we will be back in just a couple minutes. 1100 Woodlawn Road, Jake's Furnishings. That's where we are. Cheap Seats, 96.3 FM and WLCNonline.com. Back here on Winning Saturday for the Lincoln Railers. 22-14 win over the Lanphier Lions. Josh Komnick, along with Coach McDonald, and a couple players here he has brought in. We got through the halftime, and of course the Railers were ahead 14-6, and then the Clamps went on, and the Railers opened up the offense a little bit, scored 8 points in the third quarter, 7 points in the fourth quarter. One of them was an Austin Cruz 1-yard run, the 2-point conversion pass from Dane Eimer to Schmidt, and then also Cody Highbreeder 19-yard run. Cooper PAT good for 22-14 win. And first up on the mic here is, sir, say your name and make sure that thing is spelled right.
All right, Riley Reid, and it's R-E-I-D.
Riley was worried that I would not have the spelling of his name right, but I still could pronounce it okay. But it is R-E-I-D for Riley. And Riley, what position and what year in school are you?
I play offensive and defensive line, and I'm a senior.
Senior on the line, the guy in the trenches last night. Had to be fun. Haven't had a lot of moisture out on the field or anything like that. The ground had to be a little easier to fall on, like one of these Bemcos right next to us.
That's exactly true.
Coming in, Lanphier, what were you concerned about? What was some of your responsibilities last night to slow down, like Coach has been talking about, the talented quarterback that they had?
Basically, that was their number one threat was their quarterback, and that was my job to get to him or the running back, so I mean, it's on defensive.
And Coach and yourself were just arguing a couple minutes ago off air that you did not get to him one time, but you were saying that you did. So Coach says we have film and we can work this out.
Oh, we'll see on film that I got to the quarterback a few times. So.
Okay, good, Riley. Hand that over to your buddy Riley. And sir, your name and position.
I'm Brandon Aper, and I play O-line and D-line.
Two guys in the trenches. And what year are you, Brandon?
I'm a senior.
Senior this year. And anything, what were your responsibilities last night, just kind of containing that the guy that had the ball?
My biggest thing on defensive line was to make a big pile, and so I would just take out the center and whatever guard tried to block me too. So
and then help with somebody, your guy wearing a green jersey would tackle the guy with the ball then.
Hopefully. I was hoping.
And it worked out last night.
Yeah.
Shutout last night. What was the difference in the first half rather than the second half? Lanphier put up 14 in the first half, and you guys held them to 0 in the second half.
I think the biggest thing was that we just started watching the quarterback, watch what he did, and once we took him out of the running game, they really didn't have anybody run for him.
Was it really a key, as Coach was telling you guys this week, on what to key on? Was it more of the pass or the run with this guy?
It was more of the run. Coach was saying that he's not really one of those people that are going to hop around and try to juke everybody, but he did say he was a fast runner and that he would run hard. And he did that, but he was a very good player. And
yeah, you guys did a great job on him, especially in the second half. Coach, we talk about the speed of a lot of teams that you guys play. You talked about it from Jacksonville. You talked about it that we would have to worry about it from Lanphier. The elements last night help a little bit?
It may have helped a little bit. Sometimes it can make it harder on defense because defense has to react to the guy.
You don't know where he's going.
Right,
he
exactly.
knows where he's going.
He knows where he's wanting to plant and all that, and so that I think it probably balances out.
Mm-hmm. Coach, coming up next week, Southeast. Is that right? Coming to town, and I was reading some things early on preseason about the Southeast. They had some kid that looked like a monster. I don't know who he is. A big kid, Tyler. Yeah, big kid, and I'm sure he's one of them that you may have to worry about. They were winners last night. Let's see, 28-21 over Canton. They're 1-1 now on the season. What can we expect from the Spartans?
I think they broke, I believe, a 19-game winning streak. So I think
right.
Good for them because those kids, they're probably working real hard too, and so I'm glad that they were able to kind of put that behind them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure they're going to have a big
now.
boost in confidence, and they're going to be excited to come over here and play. We kind of stuck it to them pretty good last year. And I'm sure they're going to want to come over and redeem themselves here at our place this week. So we're going to have to be, again, just making strides every day in practice and getting better and be ready for this week. Anything
that you remember from them last year, or the things, I don't know if you've got a scouting report on them quite yet, but anything that you can remember that they would have coming back that caused you some problems?
Well, got the quarterback coming back who is a very good athlete and quick and dangerous. The Tyler kid that plays both sides of the ball is a big, strong, aggressive kid. Actually went to Lincoln College with his dad, who was a great wrestler.
Okay.
Back years ago, and
you don't want to tell us what year? Or?
A few years ago, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and again, I think they're going to be a greatly improved team over what they've been, and again, with that confidence boost, and they're going to be excited to come over and play us.
Brandon, how much easier is it to play at Hanlon Field and traveling to Jacksonville or traveling to Springfield? Is that one of the things that you look forward to?
I like playing here because it's a lot less of a drive. The hour and a half, and we have to be here right after school.
Right.
It's hard to get food and everything real quick. So,
what's one thing at your senior year? What's one thing that you've got left that's your ultimate goal to leave as a Railer?
To leave as a Railer, really, I just want to play as hard as I can every down.
Okay.
And just hope we win 5-4 at least.
Yeah, sounds good. Hand that over to Mr. Reid Reid. And Riley, as your high school career is winding down as a senior now, what's one thing that you're most looking forward to here in the next 7 games?
Next 7 games, football.
Football. That's it.
That's all we got.
Eat, breathe, and sleep the football. And Coach, real quick before we let you guys go, you just give us a little synopsis of Riley, what he's meant so far, to you. You've been here now 2 years in the program, and his.
Riley came as a freshman and was pretty soft, and I mean, to be honest, and he really has turned in, 4 years later he's an extremely tough and aggressive kid out there. I mean, he's got the tough mentality that he's going to bite and not bite. He's going to fight you tooth and nail. Right. I hope he's not biting. You never know, though.
I don't bite.
I mean, he takes a lot of pride in himself and his playing a team, and he's going to play real hard and aggressive, and he's become a leader. Both these guys have been great leaders. They've worked extremely hard in the offseason. Brandon Aper's playing a nails position that, again, he's getting double teamed most every play, and it's not a glamour position. He often doesn't see where the ball goes because he's getting blocked by a couple, 3 guys, and that's kind of his job to do is stuff up the middle.
Well, that's what you used to always say. There's always a job for you to do, no matter what sport you're playing. As long as you got guys doing that job, hopefully you can come out on top like you did last night.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, thanks for coming in, guys. Brandon Aper and Riley Reid stopped in today. And anything left today on the schedule for the Railers?
We got a sophomore game that is starting in about 5 minutes, and then actually the freshman game is playing at noon today.
Playing at noon. So all here?
All here. Yeah.
All here. Yeah. So if you can get out of the weather and get out of the house for a while and dodge some weather, I don't think it's raining right now. So get out there and support the sophomore and the freshman team. Coach, we want to thanks again for coming in, and it's a lot better to come up on Saturdays after W.
Oh, definitely. And I want to thank all those youth football kids that came out last night and took part and yelled and screamed at us and gave us encouragement as we came back on the field at second half.
Good, and that definitely helped as the Railers win 22-14. Let's bring one next Saturday too.
Sounds good.
Southeast will be at Hanlon Field next week as the Railers look to improve on that 1-1 record. Again, 22-14. The Railers were a winner over the Lions from Lanphier. We are done here. It's time to leave from Jake's Furnishings. We want to thank all the sponsors. We want to thank especially Jake for having us here today. Brandon Aper, Riley Reid, Coach McDonald for stopping in. 11 o'clock, you got, 63 minutes and counting before the Illini kick. So we're going to get off of here, and I got to get home and get my couch ready. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.